What's the design process of a strategy? Now, there's a million ways to do it. I want to offer you a process. It's inspired by strategic design. It's inspired by a lot of the reading I've been doing on business strategy as well. But mostly it's inspired by the skills that I think a UX designer is likely to have. So that's where it comes from. What's here? Where you are versus where you want to be. This is a lot of times how people will say they'll define UX strategy like this. A lot of people will say, okay, a strategy tells you where you are and it gets you to where you want to be. But what I don't want you to do is bridge this with a bunch of solutions that come out of your head. You can't just make up a strategy on the spot. I want to talk about the things that need to inform it. So it's not necessarily like a gap you're trying to cross. You're not necessarily trying to cross a bridge here with some fancy words and sentences in a doc. Mostly you're trying to overcome a giant systemic problem. So strategy looks a lot more like problem solving than goal setting. And the problem with thinking of it like this is that you think there's only one way across this, when that's not the case at all. Strategy is nonlinear and difficult. There are a million critical factors, and you need to set out to discover what those critical factors are before you can come up with a way to overcome them. Because this systemic problem is going to be big. It's going to be an organizational problem. It's going to be a business problem. It's not just going to be a user problem. So if you walk into trying to tackle this systemic problem with your UX design methods and your UX design processes straight out of the box, it might not necessarily work. So I'm going to tell you how you can adapt what you know about UX, UI, and that sort of thing to designing a strategy. And how I'm going to do that is I want to talk about 3 gaps. These are 3 huge issues, and if you can overcome them, you will do pretty good with your strategy project. This doesn't come from me, it comes from Stephen Bungay. He's got a book that's in like the 10th edition, and pretty much the whole book is about these 3 gaps. And he talks about these gaps being like a constant kind of thing. So they're kind of like 3 magnets that'll pull your project off course. So you can think of them like that as well. But these on your journey are going to be the things that make strategy hard. So let's talk about those.